Welcome to The Explainer. Look, if you live in Germany and you're hoping to invite your parents over for a visit, you probably already know that the paperwork can look, well, totally terrifying. But hey, don't panic. Let's dive right in. We are going to completely demystify this entire Schengen visa application package today. We'll be using a really simple, structured building block approach so you can get every single thing right on the very first try. Now, this intimidating mountain of paperwork is actually just 6 manageable phases that we're going to assemble together. We've got 1. Starting the visa process. 2. Passports and essential forms. 3. Sponsorship and accommodation proof. 4. Demonstrating financial stability. 5. Travel plans and insurance. And finally, 6. Final submission preparation.
All right, let's kick things off with Phase 1, starting the visa process.
So the absolute first steps are actually surprisingly straightforward. Step 1, your parents just need to complete the Schengen visa application form online through the German VIDEX system. Once that's all generated, Step 2 is simply signing the Declaration of Information, and Step 3 is signing the Declaration of Insurance. Laying this initial administrative groundwork perfectly really sets the right tone for the entire application. Moving right along to Phase 2, passports and essential forms.
Okay, the passport requirements here are super strict. Your parents must submit the original passport at the time of application, plus a copy of the biometric page and a copy of the last page. But I really want you to notice that final requirement, the personal covering letter. Guys, this is not just a formality. Your parents have to use this letter to clearly explain the purpose of their travel, outline the specific dates, and explicitly state that you are sponsoring them. Honestly, it's the narrative heart of their entire application.
Which brings us to Phase 3, sponsorship and accommodation proof.
Now, let's talk about the giant, intimidating German word in the room, Verpflichtungserklärung. I know, it's a mouthful, but what actually is it? Well, it's basically a formal obligation, or a sponsorship declaration. If this applies to your situation, you get this document directly from your local foreigner's office right here in Germany. It essentially tells the German government that you are officially on the hook financially for your parents' visit. Securing this piece of paper is absolutely key.
So as a sponsor, your responsibilities really break down into 2 distinct buckets. First up is your identity. You're going to need to provide an invitation letter, a copy of your passport, and your German residence permit. Second bucket is accommodation proof. You've got to show exactly where your parents are going to sleep, which means handing over your rental agreement or home ownership documents. This simply proves to the embassy that you have both the legal right to invite them and the physical space to actually host them.
Next up, Phase 4, demonstrating financial stability.
Basically, the embassy just wants to see that your parents have strong ties and financial stability back in their home country. You prove this with their pension statements, bank statements, and quick tip, preferably get those officially stamped by the bank, plus any proof of property ownership. You'll also want to include any additional proof of income or assets and a marriage certificate if that's applicable. This all builds a really solid financial profile, giving the consulate total peace of mind that your parents aren't a flight risk.
Now notice this huge number 3. Burn that into your memory, because it represents a very strict boundary. When you're pulling those pension and bank statements, they must cover exactly the last 3 months. Not 1 month, definitely not 6 months, exactly 3 months. Paying attention to this specific, tiny detail prevents so many frustrating delays you have no idea.
All right, we are on to Phase 5, travel, plans, and insurance. Listen to me very carefully on these travel arrangement do's and don'ts. Do provide a flight reservation and a basic travel itinerary, but don't, and seriously, I cannot stress this enough, do not purchase non-refundable flight tickets before that visa is actually approved. It is such a common and wildly expensive trap to fall into. The embassy literally only expects to see reserved itineraries, so please protect your wallet until the visa is firmly in your hand.
And when it comes to insurance, a standard domestic policy just isn't going to cut it. Mandatory travel medical insurance must meet specific Schengen requirements for the entire stay. Your policy has to explicitly outline that there is adequate medical coverage across the entire Schengen zone for every single day of their visit.
We made it to Phase 6, final submission preparation.
Don't let all of your amazing hard work unravel just by forgetting the small final pieces. Make sure your parents carry their printed visa appointment confirmation, as well as recent biometric photographs that strictly adhere to those Schengen specifications. And finally, print and attach the official document checklist. I know it might seem a bit basic, but physically attaching that checklist ties the whole application together and ensures absolutely nothing was missed.
So take a breath and ask yourself, is your application package truly complete? Use this exact moment to take a mental pause. Before your parents walk out the door to submit everything, you really need a vital final review phase where you are checking every single document for total accuracy.
Let's just reflect on this core truth for a second. A well-organized application package can significantly improve the overall visa application experience. This is exactly why we do all of this. Organizing this paperwork into structured blocks isn't just busy work, it's a strategy. Your hard work empowers your parents and literally paves the way for a super easy approval.
Which leads us to one final, absolutely crucial question. Are your travel dates perfectly aligned across every single document? Seriously, think about it. Does the planned travel date on the covering letter match the flight reservation exactly? Does it match the invitation letter? What about the medical insurance? I challenge you to do one last, meticulous consistency check right now. Catching just one mismatched date is often the difference between a smooth approval and a totally frustrating delay. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this explainer today, and I wish your parents a highly successful application and an absolutely wonderful